Alright, welcome everybody to another edition of Late Night Dominion, episode 11. Thanks for joining us again tonight. Hope you have fun. Be sure to send your questions to Arculius tonight, as Chicken is away. Take it away, Beetle.
Yeah, welcome guys. Another show, Late Night Dominion. As Aegon said, Chicken is down. I'm Beetle. We have Nixus the Mime as another host that he claims to be. Aegon, the ginger Fromeister, and Blank, the skinny, not working out person. Welcome to the show. Blank, take it away with our... Yeah, go ahead and take it away with the weekly news, Blank.
Well, before I get to the weekly news, Beetle, I'm going to get to the synopsis. So, as you guys know, the patch notes came down. So, I'm going to spend a chunk of this broadcast talking about them, doing a little bit of speculation, maybe a couple little nuggets you guys didn't see. As always, try not to toss any links because the auto mod will get you. And if you have any questions or comments, we've got Arculius, which is actually Pilot. He's going to be playing the role of Chicken tonight, so put them in there. We'll get to him at the end of the show. Feel free to ask pretty much anything, unless it's totally dumb, and then we'll just probably ignore you. Make sure to follow this Twitch channel. You can follow us all on Twitter, as you can see there over on the side. And make sure to like our stuff on Facebook. Why am I so quiet?
Shell says to turn yourself up.
I can't turn myself up. Shit ain't changed for ever.
Aegon would have to turn us up.
Yeah, you guys are...
No, hold on, I got you.
We are at full levels.
Some louder? There, I just turned
Everybody
up my mic.
hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you fine.
Question, is there a dumb question? There are only dumb people. Is that how that goes? Oh, okay. Alright.
That's definitely not how the saying goes, but good try.
I think that's how the saying goes. Alright, let's get into the weekly news. Right off bat here, we got Wildstar Wednesday. It's a patch notes. Gonna get a link here from Pilot. Hopefully he's doing his job. Next thing on the weekly news that you need to know about Wildstar. There's an article done by Bull Durham, a senior game designer. It's a discussion about money sinks and a bunch of econ topics for those that are like on res who enjoy the whole econ PvP. I'm sure you'll find some interesting things in there, and I believe the questions were generated from the Wildstar community. So,
yeah, it's
that's
from the
your deal.
Uplink.
If you're interested, yeah, it's from the Uplink. Thanks. If you're interested, go check it out. And if you see those, I believe it's WS Uplink on Twitter. If you see those and you want to get involved, hop on Twitter, throw your information on there. Looks like you guys are getting those, in the old chat. The next is a long video. We told you we're going to scrap together everything that we may have missed from Rezzed, since it was kind of happening at the time. So the next link you're going to get is a, looks like the Rezzed 2013. It's the dev video panel. All these ding-dongs are typing, so it's so wonderfully hard to keep up here.
Aegon, you got a little feedback going.
Do I?
Just for the record. Yep. Keep going, Blank.
Alrighty. The next on the list here of important news from Wildstar that you need to know that we're getting to you. Wildcast. Not going to say exactly who. You can go find out for yourself. They had... I wish you guys wouldn't mess with stuff when I'm trying to read it. Some people from Mog Nation got to go visit Carbine, and they got to sit down with John Wiesman, who is the lead software engineer, which is the UI architect. They visit, they hang out, and somebody who designs and makes add-ons actually got to hang out. So, from what I understand, there's lots of different ways to say thank you to those who are making add-ons in the game, and this just happened to be kind of a big thank you to that person. One of the concerns that came up that we wanted to note to you who may not have had the time to check it out this week, one of the discussions was like, hey, with the UI that's highly moddable, is it going to have like a cool base? Like, for those who aren't looking to put a lot of stuff in it, is at least the base going to be usable and cool to look at? What basically they said was it's going to be open to improvements from the community as the beta process continues, and also in the future. So it will have a cool base, and then in the future, if they find things, as people come in and add to it, they may take them on, or give them some sort of cool come hang out at Carbine if you end up being a big contributor. Beetle, how about you? Do you have something to mention about this?
Yeah, it just about like having a cool base. I guess it's still in beta, and I'm assuming some of the add-on people in beta are probably helping out with the design. But like you said, Wiesman and those guys, they're UI designers. Like, that's the job. They're not going to ship with something that's bare bones and say, the add-on guys will make it look better. They'll do a good job, and I'm sure the base UI. Because there's still a large amount of people in the MMO community that actually don't use add-ons at all. So it still needs to be a good game from the ground up.
You guys are going to get a cool scene here. We've all heard about Metal Maw, but there was a kind of cool submission. I'm not quite sure what it was for. May have just been on Twitter. Somebody actually made Metal Maw in Minecraft. A lot of people have been playing Minecraft. There's a Wildstar Central server, I believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Where people have been hanging out and playing Minecraft. So you might want to check that out if that's your deal, but we thought we'd show you that right there. Metal Maw in the game and then in Minecraft. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next notable thing was AfterLife Gaming put up a little bit of an article from their experience of Wildstar while they were at Rezzed. So you're going to get a link for that. And this one, so as you asking questions, I see a lot of them. We will be talking about some PIF, which is Pay It Forward, and we will get to your questions and stuff, so just hang on. This next was from one of the videos that we found. If as soon as Aegon, is that coming up here soon?
Yep.
Okay. You guys are going to be seeing what is somebody getting CC'd,
Okay,
and then them having
microphones
to
will come around.
spam.
If you raise your hands if you have a question, and
It
then
looks like
if you get the
spammable buttons so that they can then get out. Pretty sure that this is our first confirmation of this right here.
It's something
again, hopefully
we love it when you guys have input on the game, and it's something that we really want to deliver on.
And I'm sure this is going to be for both PvE and
is that
PvP.
you guys are going to be participating in this game,
if you don't
and
have that
something that we are going to work
stuff
together
on,
on
you're
to
going
make
to have
something
to
truly
spam
memorable.
what's looking like F. I'm not sure why we're so...
Yeah.
You'd probably be able to rebind it to something else, too.
Microphones will come around.
Yeah, but as you guys are seeing right now, you've seen there a couple times.
If you get the microphone, you can also stand up.
Yeah, that's good.
Going
you're gonna have
forward,
to
is that
spam
you
a
guys
button
are going to be
for CC.
participating in this game, and
before
something
we
that
moved on,
we're
I just
gonna work
wanted to
together on make
see if you guys
something
had any
truly
comments or some speculation about that. In other games, that's a trinket.
Okay,
and we've already talked about how the nuance in Wildstar is, having interrupt armor or not having interrupt armor as a buff and things like that. So when we see, to me, I think, oh crap, you have CC, it's now breakoutable. Like you got to spam something or do something. What does that mean? What does that actually? How does that change PvP or PvE? Going forward. Looks like Beetle. Go ahead.
My big thing with the spammable button is it's most likely freeing up some time for their designers and their UI guys and stuff, because they don't have to make and balance. I mean, this is speculation. They don't have to make and balance CC breaking skills. Use this to gain interrupt armor, but also break a CC. Now, everybody knows if I get knocked down, I get stunned, or something like that, I may have to do that, and I don't need to have, there's always that skill on your bar that you're kind of just like, God, I just need to have this, or I'm screwed in PvP, So it's like, it's just something that they don't have to worry about if they do a universal feature for it, but who knows, maybe there's a skill out there that allows you instantaneous CC break, but it's on a super long cooldown instead of having to mash F a couple times. But Aegon.
They
do
have.
Well, I mean, they got the interrupt armor, which would be instant CC, but I like actually this little system, and I mean, and to keep it kind of balanced, they could actually make it so you have to hit it even more to break out the next time, to kind of put a control on it as well. Which, if they do that, should be kind of nifty little idea. Go ahead, Nixus.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay? Is my mic working?
Yeah, we can hear you this week.
Huh?
Okay, perfect. No, what I really like about it, though, is it has an interesting little FPS aspect to it, too. It's because, like, you know, they're taking what originally started with the how fast can you react and hit your, you know, break out of the CC, but now the trigger-happy people, kind of like myself, who've been playing FPSs for, like, 10 years, can kind of appreciate it, because now you're sitting there, you're like, how fast you can, like, spam and stuff is actually going to, like, count and how fast you get out of your CC. So, I mean, it's kind of appealing for those who aren't necessarily just fans of MMOs. They're kind of like mixing in different playstyles.
More action.
Yeah, I've seen kind of a switch with the way they've been wording things, and I'm sure on their internal marketing team, they've started mentioning it as an action MMO. Like when they've started talking about combat and stuff, and having to spam a button when you get CC'd makes it more actiony, like less away from the WoW subset and more towards the Terra, where you got to move, you've got a lot of things going. Yeah, we knew that from telegraphs, but now it's like, okay, you don't just get a trinket. No, you have to spam F. And the other thing I wanted to mention was when it comes to the layers, which of course you guys know I enjoy, they now, you know, you have potential interrupt armor. So you're going to be sitting on those cooldowns, using those for PvP. Again, that's my focus. And then you have having to spam yourself out of them. Do you sit in it the whole time? Is there potential diminishing returns? Do you spam it fast the first one, the second one you sit on, the third one you interrupt armor? I really like this because when you do Battlegrounds in a game like World of Warcraft, it's like 2 minutes, that's your big CC, and everything goes around that trinket, you know, that's it. This is totally different. So now you're balancing these things, you know, who knows what their cooldown's going to be, but you're balancing more variables when you're doing your PvP. Aegon?
Yeah, I mean, I like it too because it also gives the player less downtime. You now have more things that you have to think about in a combat, so there's no lull. You're always processing something and what's going on, what you need to do. You know, should I spam out of this? Is it going to hurt me if I take it or not? You know, should I just, you know, should I hit it as fast as possible because I know I'm going to be in trouble if I don't? But it's something you got to do and keeps you in the fight and keeps you busy and not sitting out, you know, like you could in some of the WoW raids where, I mean, you could be sitting there doing nothing for X amount of time waiting for the next phase or something. Go ahead, Mike.
I feel like with the fact that they have the limited action sets, that this makes it more dynamic. So you may not have 30 skills like other games out there, but you've got them that you got to mix with these more complicated systems. So you've got your so many skills that you can play with, and now you got to make that work within these different tiers. Instead of it being like you've got 30,000 different skills on these many different cooldowns, use them however you want. It's more like, no, we're going to give you this many, but we're going to make it this deep. So it makes it a game upon itself. Beetle, how about you, man?
Yeah, I was going to say a point on yours and a point on Aegon's. I agree with that, it's just like I said before, they don't have to worry with the limited access set to say, all right, we have 8 slots now, well, we have, you know, 1 or 2 of those is going to be a CC breaker. Well, it doesn't have to be now. But like Aegon said, keeping the player active, it reminds me a lot, and people in chat, I wonder if you guys will agree with me on this, but like playing old Shenmue or like God of War, it reminds me a lot like games like those, and now with this button I won't be able to sit back as much. I couldn't set the controller down in cutscenes in freaking God of War because you never know when a QuickTime event's gonna happen. Or like Resident Evil. If Phoenix is in chat, we played Resident Evil co-op together, and he set the damn controller down, and Wesker jumps over his character because he missed a QuickTime event and snaps my neck. What is that? Fucking Resident Evil. But it's just like you can't sit back and it just keeps the user active, and that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, that's what we had to discuss about that. I haven't seen any other discussion about that out there in the Wildstar, community yet. For PvPers, it's a big deal. Of course, we could sit and talk a little bit about PvE. It's just going to be another mechanic, another depth to it. But honestly, for me as a PvPer, that was something we wanted to make sure that we let you guys know about, so that you could then, process and think about it, what it actually means. Not just, it's a trinket, you got 2 minutes, but now get ready to be ducking out of telegraphs and, dealing with interrupt armor and buffs and all this crazy stuff. Let's get back to the news here. There was a massively article over the business model. Same sort of stuff we discussed before. There's a lot of speculation. Not really going to try to talk about it in depth until we finally get something official. So we're going to move on. For those of you who are active in the Wildstar community now, Jeff Kurtenacker, he's hung out, and I think before the show started, you got to hear some of the music that was on the turntable for Wildstar. I went and found this Battle Bards. Thank you. He did a interview with this Battle Bards guys, and he actually played 3 exclusive tracks that no one had ever heard before with them. He was talking about, both music and gaming, things like that. It was not so much Wildstar related, just more music. So I thought that was really cool. Not sure if a lot of people saw that. Want to make sure you folks got that. There was also a tweet that came out from our good old friend Scooter, the guy that's always watching. If you remember when we had Matt McCarskey on the show, he said that raid testing is going to be beginning sometime soon. What does that mean? For me, it sounds like people are always like, oh, you think the game is going to come out sometime soon? If you're getting ready to start doing some sort of raid testing, it sounds like things are moving along pretty nicely. Again, that's just my speculation and my experience in it doing any sort of testing like that, but we'll see. And hopefully they get some people in there to smash some stuff and really drive some good feedback to them. The next thing that I noticed this week that you guys should know is there was a nice little article from TenTonHammer. If you've got new friends who are interested in Wildstar, before you throw them to Wildstar Central where there's like thousands and thousands of posts, TenTonHammer did a nice little cheat sheet fact. It had like 20 things you need to know. So if you got a buddy who wants to check it out, who wants to get like the meat and potatoes real quick, I'd recommend checking that out. It's really cool. Alrighty. One of our buddies, who his name is Unidel, he's a host from the Wildstar show over at Gamebreaker. He posted up his own app to give people a better understanding of how circuit board crafting works. If you guys haven't seen this, and YouTube and right now, you're gonna want to go check it out. If you remember me being confused about circuit board crafting and stuff a few episodes ago, this will help you have a better understanding of how this is supposed to work within Wildstar. And this is, from what I understand, this is unique. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in another MMO. We are able to just mess around. I mean, at the layers that they're allowing for the game. So again, if you guys haven't checked it out, you're going to get a link here soon. It's really well done, and the app, works. You can mess around with it. So, hey, it is you. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks a lot for the app. It's really awesome. It's going to be really helpful for people out there who are trying to get information and may be confused. So, definitely go check that out. One of the topics everybody wants to know about here, pay it forward. I don't know what Zap did to piss off those guys at Carbine, but pay it forward is being collected over at Wildstar Central. Y'all are going to get a link here in a second. Poor Pilot's trying to catch up, man. He's buried tonight. It was kind of just being done everywhere and on Twitter, and now it's kind of like, hey, put your submissions here, and poor Zap is going to have to try and keep the peace for all that crazy stuff that's going on over there. All right, while we're discussing that, Nixus, didn't you have something you wanted to talk about? Pay it forward.
Yeah, okay, so the new Pay It Forward thread on Wildstar Central. If you have not been to it, go see it. There is some really, really cool stuff in there. I spent probably an hour and a half today just going through, like, cracking up, like, getting jealous, because some of those artists, man, they're amazing. And, you know, I went back and forth between IRC and that thread, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, oh man, when I look at these things for Pay It Forward, like, I have faith in humanity again. Like, all this stuff is so good. I'm just like, I know the feeling. It's so good. But honestly, like, take the time to actually go see some of that stuff. Skip through, you know, whatever's not really your thing, but there's art, there's, like, what is there, propaganda, there's, like, poems I saw, and, like, even some Minecraft pictures. Like, people are getting freaking creative. And, I mean, keep it up, honestly. This is some really good stuff.
Yeah, there was just shout out to Zap for keeping the site alive. I after they tweeted that, I thought it'd just be like, but small little explosions everywhere. But it's nice to see in the thread, like Nixon said, a lot of different things. But if you look at, you know, like the post counts or likes received or whatever, you can tell a lot of the handles I didn't recognize. So there's a lot of people that because of that have signed up and have posted there, so it's bringing more people into the community and people that are trying to get into beta, so hopefully they'll stick around and we got new friends, because friends are cool. Blank. Sorry. You know, you wrote something.
You're failing. Dark just asked a question, I want to address it now. A good site for Wildstar information, there's a crap ton of them. Your main site is going to be Wildstar Central. Get on the forums. They have IRC. You can chat with people. Literally, it's all there. And one of the cool thing about that is once you start to get active in the community, you hang out in IRC, everyone's really helpful. I recommend Twitter. It seems like a lot of people are very active on Twitter. You can search the Wildstar hashtag. And even if you don't know much about Twitter, it's pretty cut and dry. Search Wildstar, boom. Don't go to any of the links that say they have beta. They don't. The only place you can get beta is from the official Carbine site. So don't go to some random Facebook and give them your social security number and your cell phone and your bank account, because they're lying and scamming you. Yeah. And so yeah, I wanted to make sure you guys knew. Definitely that when it comes to your main resource, go there. And then, like I said, if you check out Twitter, you can find the role-playing communities, the PvP communities. They have these websites. There's blogs everywhere. There's so much information, and there's a lot of cross-pollination between really active communities and websites out there. So definitely check it out. Looks like I was the last one on that. So just happened a couple of hours ago. MMORPG had an interview with good old Dapper Donatelli, or Mike Donatelli. It seemed to be a good general overview. It was kind of interesting to hear that they were talking about how CBT3 is happening now, and he's just like, well, that's old news. I'm thinking about the next stuff forward. I'm like, wow. Like, he was asking him questions. He's like, yeah, I haven't really thought about that. Definitely go check it out. It was pretty cool. I don't think anything too exciting was leaked there. So, last thing that I have for your weekly news here, there was go ahead, Nexus.
Important piece of information that you missed. Come on. During the interview with Mike Donatelli, he confirmed that he is the Pope with magical powers. You have to underline that. What does that mean? What is in store if he's the Pope with magical powers? You have to ask yourself.
I always knew he was.
See, it was funny because Mike Donatelli is on MMORPG, right? And Ether, which is Troy, is the one like sitting there watching him. And when we had Matt McCarskey on here, it was like Scooter was like, do they have to have like every time they have an interview, is there somebody who like sits there and they're like telling them that it's okay? Like, no. Like, Troy goes running over, he's like, you shut your mouth. That's the kind of, never mind. So, Last thing
just
for
like
the
sitting
weekly
there
news.
kicking him in the shins.
Yeah.
Oh. Does he have an awesome Pope hat? Don't know. Funny question. Rowsdower
Most likely.
Plushie Petition. I'm not quite sure who put this up, and y'all are ding-dongs, and thank you for making sure to put this on, Aegon.
You're welcome.
A lot of people want to have... I mentioned a little bit ago, I know for sure, I was like, it'd be really cool to have some sort of like, I have my Ramus for my daughter. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if there was something, and somebody just this week was like, dude, there's a Rowsdower Plushie Petition. I'm like, oh goodness. So if you haven't gone and you haven't signed it so that everyone can have a Rowsdower, go check it out. It's a silly little thing being put together by the community, so it's pretty funny.
I want one.
Nixus, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no. For the plushie for Rowsdower, all these people are like, yeah, I want beta. I'm going to be pressing F5. I'm freaking breaking my keyboard. I'll be doing that for the plushie, not for the beta key. Honestly. And I'm looking forward to like all the Wildstar merchandise they're coming up with. From just some of the stuff we see in the videos, they can get really creative with some of that merchandise. Fingers crossed.
Yep. And I could definitely see a lot of people being like, oh, that's really cool. I want one. Definitely. That is it for the news this week. Like you said, we like to gather up all the news for you guys. It's Wildstar related. Condense it down the best that we can from almost 100 different websites at this point. And give you guys what we think is like the really important news. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our main topic of discussion. We've got a couple. The biggest one, however, is the patch notes. A lot of people are going to go over them. We go over them with a fine-tooth comb. We try to find some things that look intriguing, important, maybe speculate about a couple of things. So if you didn't go over them that closely, don't worry about it. We did it for you. We're going to try and throw some cool things out to you. So you've got the link on YouTube, of course, and right now you have it in Twitch chat. First note that I have here is that dual faction gameplay is allowed. So before this, and I believe Mike was saying, you were able to play one or the other. Now you're going to be able to play. I wonder if you're going to be able to play both of them, or. Well, I understand what dual faction gameplay means, but I'm wondering if you're stuck with like one side or the other. Like once you pick, that's it. Like, or if you're going to be able to play both sides. But nonetheless, dual faction gameplay allowed. Beetle, would you like to elaborate or speculate?
Yeah, just speculation. With them opening up both factions, I'm speculating that we should see a lot more people getting into beta because you have to populate both sides for adequate testing. Hopefully, ? So, check them emails. Troy?
Yeah.
Hi.
Check that spam box.
Let's see, the next point that we got here. Travel off Planet 2 Far Side. This is a newly... I think Beetle, you messed it up there. It's a newly
EST means
based
established.
moon. Oh, newly established. That also means Eastern Standard Time. Based on a moon of Nexus.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. New Battlegrounds.
God darn it.
Go ahead, Beetle. Why don't you talk about the topic that we already went over there, guy?
Yeah, we're doing... This is a talk show. let me talk. But, traveling off to the base moon of Endor/Farside, I'm hoping, since it's on a moon, that mega double jumps like they talked about in space, and just jumping all over the place. That's all I had. I'm sorry. It wasn't very informative. Thanks.
Dude, this speculation is just woo. I think it's kind of cool that you're able to go. Normally we see like little land masses. Like this is like you get to go to another moon. I'm trying to think if there's another MMO out that has that sort of setup. Terra doesn't. Guild Wars didn't. Is there anything else?
SWTOR.
So
Yeah.
you got Star Wars.
You went to
I didn't play SWTOR. So you okay? Well, that makes sense. All right. I think that's kind of cool. Never played. Okay. On to the next bullet point here, folks. New battleground, Halls of the Bloodsworn. Different type. It's an attack defend type. Don't really remember exactly what that all entailed. It sounded like a something like 1 main point, 2 sub points. Getting 1 point gave you your prestige and other stuff. And Aegon, how about you? What do you recall from this? Sorry,
I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a lot like if for anyone that plays Sword, or a lot like the Wildstar, where you're basically going to have one team, fighting their way through a sections of a land area. The other team's going to have to defend them, and you get rewarded for how far you make it or how far you don't. Good, Beetle.
Yeah, just more of the same. Attack defend type. They said in the notes that teams would take turns attacking, defending. I know I always go to examples with Call of Duty, but search and destroy. Taking turns attack, defending. Simple stuff. It could be as complicated, like Aegon said, with fighting through corridors trying to reach the end, which I thought was kind of cool in SWTOR. I mean, of course that game had its own faults, but I'm a big fan of attack-defend types because you may go down when you're defending 2-0 or something like that, but you have a better attacking team. It's just, I always feel that there's a good chance. It's not like a domination type where you get down by so many points and you're just like, oh god, we can't come back. It's more of, we have 2 chances to tie this up kind of thing. Blank, what do you think?
Somebody had mentioned Strands of the Ancients, for those of you who played World of Warcraft. I was kind of getting that sort of a feeling too, but I wasn't sure if it was like Strands of the Ancients with a little of the Arathi Basin twist to it. We'll see, but yeah, attack defense are definitely kind of fun. I'm still waiting for the the big capture the flag. I'd love to see that be some sort of big rumble in the jungle sort of thing. But anyways, Nixus, how about you? New battleground, attack defend.
So my question is, if it's going to be a defensive, attack defense, will they be incorporating like what your path does into PvP in the sense, like, let's say you're a settler and you have to defend a point, or are you going to be able to come up and, let's say, build a turret or something? Like, how are they going to tie in the paths with the PvP in those kinds of situations? I mean, maybe they've talked about it a little bit. I'm not too aware if they have, but I think there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with it. Like maybe if there's like a high point they get for like an explorer where they can go and they can like set something up like a sniper turret or something and like just kind of help defend or attack, whatever it may be. How creative can they get with those paths in PvP? So I'm not sure. This is kind of like a question that I'm asking all of y'all. Have you heard anything about that, or is that something I've missed? I think it'd be fun.
Sure.
Yeah, be an interesting idea.
Well, what we know about your LAS is that you put something from your path on there. So, for whatever that means, you're going to get something that you're going to want on your bar from your pathing. What that is and how that's going to dictate gameplay, PvP and PvE, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go as far as what you said. I mean, I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but to make a map that revolves around Bartle types kind of sounds a little too far. But maybe as, I don't know, let's say like an explorer, because you're level 100 exploring, you're really good at moving fast. So your skill that you get allows you to run really fast. So maybe you get like a group sprint or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like that would be the one thing you brought into the battleground. But a specific built-in design for a map, I don't see that actually happening. Just from a bigger point of view. Oh my goodness, I keep losing myself on docking.
I think if they play a role at all, are probably more likely we'll see them in war plats versus a battleground.
Yeah. Do you really think, though? I mean, we're gonna get off topic here. Hopefully, not too much. But for war plots, which we have no information about, I still don't see them making specific things for paths, because paths is supposed to be a part of your. It's part of your gameplay and leveling, and you may get things from it, but I just don't see them making it a hard design decision where you're like, oh, okay, well, you have to have so many explorers for your war plots because they need to go and do said thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, do you guys think, could you really see that? Like, okay, to be competitive in a war plot, you need to have this many settlers because there's this many settler points, and each one of them needs to build up this amount of stuff. Like, I see them being a part of the map, but I don't see them being an integral part of the maps that they're going to build.
I don't see it being integral, but definitely, like, you're going to make the settler can build buff stations in the base. You'll have, the scientists maybe can reinforce walls and stuff that walls or improve the guns and turrets and stuff. Who knows? We'll have to see what they do with it. I mean, there's so many things that they can come up with that necessarily needed, but something extra to do with your paths.
I disagree with that. I think it will be needed. I think a team that is balanced with certain types of paths will always have an advantage over a team that's all soldiers. Yes, all those soldiers may be the best PvP players out there, but if they're getting stopped by even tower defense, stuff like, say the settlers build 4 slow turrets, if they're all running up and they're slowed because of these things and slowed for the other team, I feel like you need to have a good balance if you're going to be competitive. Even if you, like I said, even if you are the best players ever, there's going to be a feature to the game that's going to help people that are, not as skilled. So,
not really sure here. I'm kind of saying I don't see it as a design thing. Beetle's saying, potentially. Aegon's kind of saying the same thing. Okay, next bullet point for you folks. Rated BGs and arenas are open for testing. I believe they said their baseline was 1,200. And isn't that an indicator of the sort of systems they're using?
Mm-hmm.
For their rating? Do you know what that is, Beetle? Because I'm not sure. If that's an actual,
1,200 is a number that's it's right now linked to whatever algorithm they're using for ranking. I obviously have no idea what it's about, but they said based off of Bartle, so if 1,200 is their number, it's gonna have a big part to do with whatever they're using.
So, well, my comment about that was, you start off in that area for World of Warcraft. Is there any, strength to that number? Is there any importance to that number? Or is it just, could they have picked 500? Does it really matter what the number is?
Yeah.
Because I understand how you balance it in front of it.
Yeah, with nothing to compare it against, stat numbers and other numbers that have to do with the 1,200, it's a number right now. But internally, it's important.
Whatever formula they came up with for their ELO, they determined that had to be their baseline number for whatever calculations they're doing. We're never going to know those, so, we'll see how it works out.
Nerd stuff.
Okay. I was just wondering. All right, let's, next big bullet point you may have possibly missed. Settler resources will now drop off of kills. And there was also mention of loot pinatas. It seems that you were able to get your resources out in the world, maybe buy them, but now they've fixed it, so while you're out doing your stuff, it seems you're able to get them from the kills as you're going around. Another interesting point that you might have missed, the scientist scan bot is immune to CC. I have no idea what the hell that means, and I hope that I really hope that like the scan bot isn't like some sort of warlock pet where it's like, oh, I'm being scanned. Yeah, well, I can't get the scan bot off me. It's got, ignore armor for like fucking 5,000. It won't get away from me, so.
Yeah.
It is now immune to CC. Not sure what that means, but whenever I see things immune to CC, I get nervous. Party vote. Oh, go ahead, Nixus.
So it says that it's immune to CC. That leads me to the question: if it can be stunned, can it then be hurt? And if it can get hurt, can it then die? And if it dies, is it something you have to buy, or is it a spell? Is it an item that you'd have to go purchase to use and then renew on a regular basis, or is it something that you're gonna have just passively? Does it come with the path? Do you have to build it? Do you have to craft it? Is it part of a profession? How does that work?
I'm totally. Whenever I see anything like that, I just think warlock. I just think pet. So whatever system they come up with, I guarantee, dude, that would suck so much if you had some little bastard bot that died and you had to remake it. I would be like, F this path. I would restart and be like, I ain't doing this crap. So I see that. Unless it's cheap, who knows? Maybe you need one piece of ore and a piece of wood and, a piece of,
well, look
your
at it as
original
like any
Nintendo.
other tool.
Yeah.
You'd have the basic one that would cost almost no mats to make, so you could just keep making that one as much as you want, and you could have your higher tier scan bots that would be even better,
All I'm going to say is it's a pet. I guarantee it's some sort of pet. And, if somebody comes along and kills your pet, then you hello, magical summon, Rez, my little pet thing. Aegon, how about you, man?
I don't think it's anything they're going to have to purchase. I mean, if they're dropping, settler resources are dropping off of mobs, is a standard thing, I don't think they're going to make some kind of, potential, cash sink into paths. If they're just giving settlers resources. Good. What do you think, Beetle?
Yeah. You mentioned Scambot skins cash shop happening. I bet. All right, but I think that this note's probably taken out of context, and Scambots are now immune to CC. I bet they're immune to damage too. But we were getting a bug most likely that allowed them to be CC'd. So if you're taking up stuff like that, then it's probably saying, all right, we had a bug that was making them damaged. Well, we need to make them so they don't take up a CC. I think Destrin said it in chat. They don't take a charge of your CC. If a CC hits 3 enemies, you don't want the Scambot to be one of those 3.
Dude, we keep you around for the beard, but sometimes you say smart things like that, and I'm happy you're here because, that's pretty smart.
Sometimes.
Thanks, man.
Dude, that was really I'm getting typed too ferociously now. The next thing that we have here was a party vote kick implemented. So someone's being a jackass. You can vote kick goodbye. One of those. I like to see things like that because there's always those little things that when you're playing, you're like, man, I wish they had this. Cool. They've got that basic function that everybody is looking for. So if you're doing a group, someone's a jackass, vote kick goodbye. See you later, jackass. Rivals list. We got a cool a bunch of stuff here for you. Rivals can be marked from either faction. So, if I decide I want to always be dueling Nixus because he sucks, I can mark him as my rival and see where he is out in the world. And I guess you can also mark up the guys that you're looking for in an open PvP area, which I believe, I don't know how the hell it works, the different areas, but that's cool. Like, oh, hey, what the hell's that flashing thing over there? Oh, that's that MFer. Here we go. So, rivals. The first thing we have here, Who will be on our rival wrist? Wrist?
Go
ahead, Nixus.
That'd be alright.
Oh,
That's
well,
racist.
Before I answer that, I do have one quick thing to address. I did see somebody, I'm pretty sure it was on Twitter today, ask, when you can mark rivals, does that mean you'll be able to see them, like, for example, let's say you open your map, can you see where they are anywhere in the world? Or does it only count for whenever you're in their, like, you can actually visualize the character model, and does it pop up with, like, a big red X above their head saying, like, this guy right here, you don't like him? So I think it would be a little cheap to be able to see where they are on the world map, because then that would just lead you to be able to just go hunt for them all the time.
Dude, that's super trolly. There's no way they're going to be like, here's your little beacon, just chase some motherfucker.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's, somebody on Twitter asked it. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't know if there's other people out there who were confused about it, but I highly doubt it, just because that's going to lead to a whole lot of QQing. So,
I mean...
And also, can you customize the little thing that will be above their head or whatever it might be? That's something else I want to know.
That'd be a UI add-on, if anything. But if it's what you're explaining with something that big, I'm gonna use the rival list as my friends list or guild list then. If I need to know where people are, I'm not gonna care about the rival list and be like, all right, press M. Where are all the red pings? Those are all my bros. But it probably won't be that way. But I just can't think about how quickly I can type in Mr. Mike Joseph's name, Arrowwolf. I mean, it's probably going to be the first thing I do, and the first thing he does. I'm probably not going to keybind anything. I'm just bringing up the rival list already and message him on Steam or something and be like, hey, what's your in-game name? Thanks.
Yeah,
just joking, but yeah. Go ahead, Blank.
Dude, I'm not. My little joke about that is I'm going to find Arrowwolf, and then I'm going to rival him up, try to find him, and then I'm going to play his song while it shows me making my way, getting there, having the fight, and then the success. Like that. That's going to be it. That'll be the first video that I put up when the game goes up.
It'll be so trolly just to have like 8 people with you two, and just be like, I know where he is, guys. He's right here.
Hey, listen, we'll hook you up. We'll be your buddies. Just let us know where Airwolf is. Everyone's like, he's over here. He's over there. He just left the town.
he's en route.
Oh, we used to do that with Terra when you would have the guild wars. We would sit outside the towns and like hide, and we'd have the low levels like ungilded like sit inside and watch where people went, and then like try to pick the channels and go like get them. It was so much fun. That's what this reminds me of. This feature reminds me of that being like, I'm gonna stalk this guy. I'm gonna see where you're at, and also if you're you're grinding and doing stuff, you know who's around. So if all of a sudden 3 or 4 red dots show up, it might be time to haul ass back to town. Anyways, what else do we have here? Oh, next point off a rival list. Neighboring is now allowed in housing. So all of you who like really cute dumb crap eventually are going to be able to add Nixus and go in and look at his house and
cute
whatever
dumb
cute
crap
he has. Oh, dude, I can only.
Why can't it be like manly, like a bar and just pelts and
no, dude. Listen,
swords.
we all know that you're gonna go into like Nix's house and it's gonna be nothing but like fluffy animals and like smiling rainbows and
a bed of rainbows.
I think did Nix's microphone die?
I think so.
He doesn't know.
Nope. Self-mute.
Gotcha.
He was all right. Okay, so neighbors are allowed to visit your plot. The next big point on top of that, guys, is your roommate can decorate. So I see this being one of those on-res deals where like, hey, on-res, I need you to contract and find me somebody who's really good at decorating so I can make them my roommate and then they can decorate my house and then get the hell out. And he's going to charge, 10 gold for that to happen. Because I read that in one of his articles before about the things that could be, on your plot and, making money off of them. If somebody's really good at decorating, which I am terrible at, why not pay somebody to come do it for you? Be my roommate for the day, make my house look pretty, I pay you.
Right.
Last part we have here is all houses start as public, and you have to make it private manually. So apparently when you get a house, you're just like this really nice person who's like, hey, everybody come on the hell in. And then you decide to be like the neighbor with fences, and you're like, no thank you. Beetle, what do you got to say about that?
Well, mine was actually, I just thought about something about the previous thing with the roommates. I wonder if it's based on your plot, if you front the cost or whatever current house currency for it, or if the roommate has to. Because then if they front it, then you have to pay them for materials or whatever they placed, plus their time.
Whoa.
I don't know.
This is turning into a marriage or something. It's like, how much do you have to trust your roommate?
Married?
I was going to say that I need to hire
my pancakes, motherfucker. Those were my pancakes. Why are you eating my pancakes, bro?
well, then you may need to hire a bodyguard, and I know Flannan and Turntable's the huge gorilla Flannan. I may need a house bodyguard if you're up to it, because I don't know if people are just putting crap all up in my house and not making it look nice.
Oh, man.
No, Nick said I want to marry you, if that's what you're getting at.
Oh.
Oh, goodness. All right, back on track here. Cool points that we found. Salvaging items now has a chance to have a critical success. I'm going to say this again.
How happy was Honores?
I know, dude. He probably was like, oh my god. Salvaging items, so breaking down items, can crit. Of course, my first thought is, well, before you salvage things, do you, like, put on certain gear to make sure you crit better, or is it just an internal one? Just because I've seen that sort of stuff before. But salvaging items is a critical success. We didn't put it here, but it actually talked about, when you guys go check it out, what that actually means. Like, it gave you higher tier, better crap, which I thought was super cool. The sub-note to that is trash loot cannot be salvaged anymore. So, my little statement about that was it sounds like they were changing some sort of system, and I know, Beetle, you were able to describe it better. Because I didn't understand why you'd want to change it from, like, trash loot, which I'm sure is just regular gray items, can't be salvaged anymore, what the point of that is. So,
yeah, it's streamlining the process. They mentioned way back that there'd be what they call it, crafting material bags, like a whole different, like a storage of some sort separate from your inventory. So things for salvage most likely go in there. So it's just streamlining the whole process. If you have crafting, let's just say regular items that can be salvaged, but then you have all these gray items. Now, as a player, you're just like, okay, gray, sell. And you're not looking at, like, oh, fluffy dead corpse. Does that salvage into metal? I don't remember.
Okay.
It's just, it's gray, sell. Okay. Hey, Gon, what do you think?
Well, I think also probably a change economy-wise, because if you could salvage all your trash, why do you need to salvage any of your gear? Unless you need something really important. You can just sell it off for money.
That's a good point.
Salvaging it. Now you have a choice: are you going to salvage that piece of item and get the cloth or metal or whatever materials you need from it, or are you going to sell it for the money?
Okay, all right. We're gonna move along here. The next point that you may have missed, and we combed on out for you: crafting work orders are daily quest. So, and not that I give a crap. The only reason I'll probably be crafting is if it's like the best way to make dollar bills. But now, for whatever that means, you can do them daily. The significance, maybe it's a big deal, maybe you get extra stuff from the work orders, I don't know, but they are now daily. 24-hour cooldown. Next point is cooking recipes have been added to certain zones as drops and rewards.
I meant rewards. Sorry.
Yeah, I got you. So, wanted to point that out. now you're going to be, running around and, I can't remember that. It was at Dirge's, kicking Chimera chops in vanilla. That recipe sold for like 300 gold back in the day. I remember somebody got that, and my whole guild put together to buy it. You're going to be able to get these off of drops now. So I'm assuming, the speculation is that you were only able to maybe buy them, and now there might be really rare, cool ones out there to pick up. Beetle.
Yeah, it's I always liked. I hope they would add all types of recipes to possible rewards, because I always liked in games where it was, do I get the sword, the helmet, the sword and helmet that are a little better, or do I get this recipe that it's like, oh, I've never made this type of armor, I've never made this type of food, that I'd rather take that and just acquire more recipes. I'm kind of like a recipe hoarder when it comes to that. Like on my Guild Wars 2 characters, like there's no achievement for it, but I just feel like, oh, I might need this crappy stew down the line. I need this recipe, just like, I just like to have them, because I just like to have them just be like, oh yeah, I can make that, no problem,
All right.
That's when you find out that stew is vital to making the legendary Sword of 1,000 Truths.
Yeah, they put it inside the hilt to weigh it down.
Oh, goodness. All right. Next point. The Commodities Exchange is open for business. Big news. The Commodities Exchange is a part of the auction house that is used to buy and sell commodities, such as crafting materials, hobby materials, consumables, and microchips. It has been the Commodities Exchange. Half of the future auction house has been added to Ilium and Thayid. Some locations can have Commodities Exchange built as a settler upgrade. So, hanging out with a settler, you happen to be one yourself, yo homie, does this place, can we get one up? Absolutely. Boom. So you're able to do it on the fly. That's really cool. I've been looking forward to that sort of information telling us about what kind of cool stuff like that a settler is going to be able to build. Beetle, what are your thoughts on the Commodity Exchange?
Yeah, my thoughts on the Commodity Exchange as a whole is, I've always kind of played auction houses in past games, but I've never really, gotten a full handle of, the ins and outs of them. And I know several people, we mentioned honors before, but I think the Maker, he's in chat on his Guild Wars 2 stream. He talks about playing the auction house too, and I think for this game, when it comes out, we should get together with some big econ people in the community and, have a how-to, or like how to go about making money, or here's like not necessarily like here's how to make big money, but here's little tips and tricks about the commodity thing that you may not have noticed, like, oh, you should sort by this or sort by that, because this is one of those games that I'd like to actually know what I'm doing in the auction house, besides just like, oh yeah, buy now, I can afford it, boom, like... Aegon, what do you think?
Well, I think it'll be interesting, and then I'm also wondering what kind of commodity exchange is it going to be? Is it going to be set by the game, based on supply and demand, or is it going to be player-based? I mean, it's a commodities exchange, and supply and demand can easily fluctuate that. Is that going to be something monitored internally in that auction system, or is it going to be player-based? So I look forward to see how that works out. Good, Beetle.
One of the things that I wanted to throw in here that was just posted up was, will the CE, is it going to be worldwide? Will it be like Guild Wars 2, where it's everybody? It looks like a bunch of us just wrote, it's probably going to be server, but again, you don't know. But more than likely, you'll probably see your commodities exchange in your auction house be based upon your server economy. I couldn't imagine another crazy auction house being based like the one that was for Guild Wars 2. So
server based, most likely, I'd think.
Yeah, more definitely. Big news. Everybody's always interested about this. Lots of discussion about it over Wildstar Central. The limited action set has been moved up to 8 from 7 abilities. So, you're rolling around, instead of having 7 things, you're now going to have 8. I got absolutely no speculation off the top of my head about. I mean, I understand they're adjusting things, but did we have any sort of other information about why they would do that, except for maybe looking at balancing things? Can we expect that number to move around on the next couple of beta pushes that they have with the feedback they get? So, Beetle, on that topic, LAS, what do you think?
I would think, based on the other little notes in there where it said, like, you unlock your third slot at level 7, I think, or something like that. So you may not get all 8 till level 25, 30. And I think we're getting a little feedback from someone. Is everybody else sitting right? Getting like a little whine. I don't know. But
just you.
Well, I'm dumb. I think that the sweet spot for an action set based MMO is between 8 to 10. And that's just me. I personally loved the 10. I think it was for Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 2 was right around 10, but Guild Wars 1 wasn't really that action-based anyway. But I think we will end up somewhere between 8 and 10.
Somewhere between 8 and 10. I'm actually looking for that right now. You guys go ahead and adjust that. From 7 to 8, I'm trying to find where they put it in here. And for those of you who may be asking, there was a ton of things that were posted up about the classes. We weren't going to go into them in depth because you can do that on your own time, and everything there is really subjective. We don't understand what those numbers mean. They hold no real weight for us to really judge anything. I mean, if we really wanted to get nitty-gritty about the talk show, maybe we could talk about, like, which class has more threat things and who doesn't and what that could possibly mean. But, we weren't going to really dig into that. Here it is right here. The limited action set has been expanded to 8 abilities up from 7. 2 slots now unlock at level 1, and another slot unlocks every level up to level 7.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
So wait, you by level 7 have them all?
Yeah, by level 7 you'll have all 9.
That's math.
All 8 slots. Or all 9 slots.
You're lucky we're live, because I'd be giving you the happy dance we had before the show happened. Okay, alright. So they expanded it up. What I said was, is there potential for it to change? They may, they might say, oh, we're going to do 9, we're going to do this much. 1, 2, 3. See, I can't do math. Alright. Aegon, did you have something to mention about the LES before we move on?
I think that they might have made these changes because maybe they're not seeing the pass skills being used as much. So, because the last 2 slots were originally going to be held for like your path abilities that you got. Maybe they're not seeing them either being used the way they want or being used too much. So they wanted to limit it down and put more combat skills in there. And we don't really have full thinking on it, but that's just my thoughts on why they may have done it.
Okay. Potential to move? Don't know. So we'll see. Another big point we wanted to throw out there for you guys. So, everybody now has the ability to res outside of combat by right-clicking the dead guy. And I might piss some people off, and of course, as always, I don't care. From the patch notes we saw before, people were able to do rezzing. I'm sure people had that job. My speculation about this note is potential combat res, ? And isn't it lame when everybody can kind of res? I mean, that's... You take away from the paladin or the priest whose job is to get the reses up, to do that sort of stuff, when anybody can do it. So I don't really understand, and none of you guys are writing anything that you want to mention about this, so I don't know. But
hey,
yeah,
I'm writing something.
You guys suck. Nixus, go ahead. Everybody being able to res. What do you think?
So, I don't really think that it would necessarily take away from any particular class to do out-of-combat rezzing. Because it doesn't matter in the end, because, whoever it might be that's rezzing, you're eventually going to get everybody up, so it doesn't really matter who's doing it. What matters is which class has the combat res. That's what makes the difference, in my opinion. outside of battle, like, I don't really care who's res and who. You know, I don't feel like it changes the class. I don't know what you guys think. I know Blank obviously doesn't agree, but what do you think, Beetle?
I think it's another thing that we might see change a little bit with the next patch notes or something. I feel like this is one of those things that they're trying out, and it's just like the limited actions moving around. They're just trying out to see what it's like. Maybe too few classes had reses the last time, and now everybody can res. I think if this doesn't work out, you may see, more classes gaining a high cooldown out of combat res. Like a warrior shout or something that will out-res people out of combat. I kind of agree with you, Nixus, with the fact that we may see different types, or like the healing classes getting these battle reses, but someone in chat says it screws up, botched boss attempts. It does, you don't have to, hollow crypt or whatever they have, so I don't know. I think it's a testing purpose, and we'll see if it maybe changes. Blank?
As you know, we like to speculate when we're, putting on our speculate hats. What if you don't get a battle res, or maybe you do? What if you get a group res? What if you get some sort of telegraph where you can res a bunch of people in an area? It's a possibility, You're able to res your party. Everyone in this little area is going to get combat resed, and it has an hour-long cooldown. But everybody can res when you're out. So that, to me, that when it comes to design, that would give a really cool nuance to people who have reses, since everyone else has them. And again, speculation. I haven't read it anywhere. You're hearing it here first, but it could be something that they might put in as a design potentially, because you got these cool telegraphs. Why not? Aegon, how about you?
I think right now it probably put in as a test to determine recovery time for raiding, see how they balance that out versus what kind of reses healers should have later on for raid content. So
yeah,
I mean,
who knows how long the raids are?
Right. I mean, but like I said, I think it may be in right now as a test for recovery times from raids. But I mean, they'll probably balance that out, whether it needs to stay or go, as they see how raid testing goes.
I don't know if you guys just saw in chat. We need telegraphed reses with enemies knocking bodies around, so you have to aim your res. We're getting some next level shit on here.
360 no scope res.
I got like 7 people, yeah.
Wasn't even aiming.
I don't know. When it comes to potentials, again, I really look at systems design, and I didn't go to school for any of that crap, but I've had a lot of experience playing games, and I think that would be interesting that they have the telegraphs. If everybody can res, whether it's like Beetle says, and they're doing it for testing now. If they made that an option, like, okay, you're doing 3 drakes and 3 dumbasses stand in the fire wave and they die, cool. I can run over. I can drop my hour B-res because this looks like a successful attempt. They get up, we burn that, and we beat the boss. Again, huge speculation, but I think that would be super cool. All right, Beetle. How about you?
I'm thinking, when you mentioned telegraph reses, I'm thinking if we do get in combat battle reses, that in order to balance a battle res besides the cooldown, I bet it'll be a telegraph of some sort. A small AoE circle, or some sort of AoE circle or a line, or that would actually help making battle reses less cheap, I guess, as some people call them, if you have to actually put some effort into it besides clicking the person's name and getting closer to them.
Yeah.
I think battle reses with telegraphs would be cool.
Nice. All right. Some wild speculation there, guys. You won't see it anywhere else out there first. They literally just came off the top of our heads, so we're going to move on. Got one more point here from the patch notes. There was a new dungeon discussed, Skullcano. Looks to be around a level 35 dungeon. unlike, what was the last dungeon? I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to help me. With the Pell guys in it.
Storm Talon.
Storm Talon.
Storm Talon.
That's the last one they revealed.
Unlike Storm Talon, where we've heard some stuff, we've heard some lore, and Maddie told us about it, ages ago on the show. I don't know if there's too much out there about this place right now, so I'm looking forward to when we finally get to hear about this place.
Speculation.
Vito, what are your thoughts?
When I hear Skullcano, I just think Mad Max. That's my only speculation. I just think, Skullcano, Mad Max. Aegon, what do you think?
Speculation. One of our screenshots from last week was from that dungeon.
Oh, you're thinking?
Yeah.
Oh.
Time to go back to the thread and speculate.
I know.
Hang on, why would there be a farm in a volcano?
No, the other
We
screenshot.
had 2 screenshots. Silly rabbit. No, you're not. You're not kidding.
Wow, dude, see, man, y'all are pretty smart. Y'all are some smart fellas. All right,
That's why you have us on here, Blank, to help you. What?
We're gonna talk about briefly pay it forward submissions. We talked about it earlier. We want to talk about it again. They're going on over at Wildstar Central. From what we saw in chat tonight, basically what happened was Zaprovo decided to pick up the phone from Carbine and said, hey, sure, go ahead and bombard my site. We've got plenty of moderators now. It's no big deal. So there's got to be a huge influx of people. Definitely go check it out. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing really cool things. There are a lot of people out there doing really cool things before there was a pay it forward. That were setting up websites for PvP, that the war plots. I know Vuxy's got a new one. There's Airwolf, Settler, and Exile. If I try to mention all of the different websites I look at in a week, it's crazy. My folder, like I said, for the information that we gather is over 100 websites long now at this point of podcasts, Wildcast, blog sites, and these people are just amazing. Whether they're Wildstar Roleplay and they're giving us really cool drinks, or they're the econ PvPers like Anraz, who's talking about crazy speculation about stuff, driving this sort of conversation back and forth with the developers. There's a lot of people out there that are just new, or they're interested in Wildstar, that are making cool things that are going to help bring more people here. I don't want to say this is kind of a hype builder, but I mean, it really is, because you've got these people generating all this cool fan art and lore and, submissions for, a potential chance to get into beta. That's awesome. So check it out, make your stuff. And even if you're not interested or you don't have the time, check the thread out. The thread is, like Nixus was saying, it's really awesome. I was going through it, and one of our guild members, out of nowhere, had these 7 or 8 Minecraft shots. We were like, dude, when did you do this? He was like, oh, I don't know. I just kind of put it together. We were like, okay, really cool. So again, check it out. A lot of people, if you were on my Twitch channel, when was that, Nixus? On Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On Tuesday, Nix has put together lore reading.
Wednesday.
And for those.
Wait, no, we are Friday, Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday.
Nix, what day is it right now?
Who keeps track?
Tuesday. He put together a little event. It was the lore reading. Well, what he did was he got together a bunch of lore and tried to get people together on a raid call, which eventually turned into TeamSpeak. And what happened was we asked people to volunteer to read the lore, to try and get people like me who really don't care interested, to get immersed in it, to find something intriguing, which, by the way, and I'm going to admit this probably only once ever, I actually found myself enjoying the story of the Granok. Stop smiling, you son of a bitch, because stop it right now. Because
yeah, look at that little smirk.
By reading the lore, I was like, that's kind of cool. These are big, beer-drinking badasses. And I was all like, man, those guys are fucking cool. I mean, yeah, we should read some more of this stuff. So, don't tell Pappy. He doesn't need to know. but they must be doing something right because it was really cool. What Nixus did was there was a big thread over Wildstar Central. It was done by Starspun, who is awesome. He went through it, found I don't know. Did you find everything or here, Nixus? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the process of how you went around it?
I mean, there really wasn't too much of a process. I came home, I was like, it's about time I caught up on all that lore. So I decided I'd sit down and kind of read through it, and I was like, why not involve a couple people? I decided to tweet it out. Didn't get much traction at first, but then slowly people started trickling in. And we were just kind of going down the list of things on that lore thread, which, again, you know, Starspun, it's awesome that you did that, because it makes things so much easier for those of us who haven't really been able to catch up on all that. So it's just go straight there, and it's all right there for you.
Story time with Nixus.
But yeah, it was actually a ton of fun. I won't even lie, you know, it was a lot more fun than I expected it to be. I thought it was more of I was going to sit there and just kind of read through different articles, and they're interesting, but man, it was way better than I could have possibly wanted to be. And for those of you who are interested, I have the Q&A sessions. The videos are ready. They're just going to need to be uploaded onto YouTube tonight. It takes like 6 hours with my Canadian internet, so it's going to be like probably 6 or 7 hours. It'll be on tomorrow. Keep an eye out. And yeah, I did a French accent, and it's not usually something that's in my comfort zone, and that was a lot of fun. Even like Blank was saying, you know, he was reading, he was having fun. He doesn't want to say it, but he was having fun. And
you never want to admit it, but the Grannock are sweet.
Listen. I know someone's gonna turn this into a clip, and we'll see it in the future when, you know, a bunch of people jump me on our server. I am not a big lore dude, but I keep reading about the Grannock. I'm like, motherfucker, these guys are really cool. Like, I'm big, I drink beer, I'm a badass. I'm like, that's personally the Dominion as a faction are attractive, but Grannock, I'm like, yo, those dudes are so cool. I want to hang out with you, dude. And that's all because of you, Nixus, you son of a bitch. I was fine until we did those readings. I was like, man, those guys are cool. So, that was a lot of fun. And I know, I'm not sure if Nixus mentioned it, they're going to be doing, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to take my webcam off, so apparently a lot of people enjoyed watching me try to be serious and do all this sort of crap. Y'all are haters, that's all I gotta say about that. But there's going to be more of those in the future. I'm probably going to record them without my camera on. Players. So, yeah, and definitely the roleplay community. If you've got some people to do voices, or you're interested in doing this stuff and can do it 1,000 times better than I can, please show up. With that being said, looks like we're going to move on down to the bottom here. And we're going to get to what is normally chicken talk, but it's going to be pilot talk tonight, or Arcleos. So, go. You wanna do something there, Beetle? Do you want to take this? I'm gonna hand this over to our questions correspondent, Beetle.
That's my impression of you. Oh, I'm blank.
Don't be jelly, bro. Don't.
Alright, first question. Doesn't have a name. GG Pilot, good start. Do the guys think they'll use the rivals list option a lot being on a PvP server? Missed the name, I'm a moron. That's the best part about that.
Listen, we work off a document, and I want you guys to see exactly what we just read. That's our first question of the night.
Alright, I think if the rivals list is done well, and it's, you know, and it's clean, and it's, like Nixus said, UI things, not like super ridiculous, but like, if you see it, it's just like an enemy on the horizon, but it's got like a little red star next to his name, you're like, oh, that's one of my rivals? I think if it's clean and well done, I'll use the crap out of it. I mean, it can be just it could be a fun friends list, you know, like, who wants to be on my rivals list, I'll try to catch you in game kind of thing. Alright, no one else is typing, so I'm gonna keep going, because you guys are slow.
Oh, sorry,
Dark Thunder 84, you typed in the wrong question, so don't worry about it. Dark Thunder 84, what's a good site for Wildstar information besides the main page? We kind of answered this already during the show, but Blank, if you just want a quick rundown again, just there's a bunch of community sites, but Blank.
Wildstar Central, forums, and IRC. You for your PvP. There's the easiest way to do this is to go to Twitter and look up the hashtag Wildstar. There's a couple of big PvP communities. There's so many flipping vodcasts and podcasts. It's not even funny. But your main starting point is Wildstar Central. Get in there. They have a block that tells you the big community people. And somebody actually posted a thread that said, like, these are, like, everybody that does content. So it's not too difficult to find, but definitely I would start at Wildstar Central and then get on Twitter and search Wildstar and then enjoy being spammed by all of us here. So.
All right. Casual Corridor asks, at Pilot, what do you think Donatelli's views on content also... Oh, no. Was this that? Oh, I'm just being... Disregard. I'm dumb. Casual Corridor asks, what do you think of Donatelli's views on content? Also, how he's loosely mentioned redacted. Chew it to me. Seems like he either slipped it or wanted to mention it. There's a little joke around Carbine and around the community that if you're looking for slips or little tidbits, you want to listen to Donatelli speak. He's been doing it since the first interviews I've watched, and you'll be like listening to it like all tab, and you're like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then he'll say something, you'll be like, wait, what? And you'll tab back in, you'll rewind it, and you'll be like, did he just say that? I don't think we're supposed to talk about that yet. Or like,
Mike just said it in chat, and having seen it, I have to agree, and that's why Nixus has got that smile on his face. You give Donatelli alcohol, and he leaks like a sieve. It's great. All you gotta be is like, hey, dude, you want some? It's real, dude. Here you go. It's real good. He's like, okay, this is really cool. Okay, all right. So just feed Donatelli alcohol, and you're good to go.
All right. Dark Thunder 84 asks, what are the chances of a 2013 Wildstar release at this point? Still on track or likely to be delayed to 2014? At this point, what's the date? I'm kidding. At this point, I think we could still see a 2013 with what they're, saying on their beta phases and stuff. It'd be pretty late 2013 in my opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised for it to get pushed 2014. It'd be super early 2014, but I think they can make 2013 still. Blank, what do you think?
Said this last week or the week before. From what we've seen, and as Donatelli said it, internally, they're working on CBT4. The people are testing CBT3. They have I didn't even say 2 weeks to 5 weeks for testing and moving forward. For the chances of it being released in 2013, honestly, if they're going to rush it without a bow in a crappy package kicked down the stairs, I think you could probably see it before Thanksgiving, honestly. Do I think that's going to happen? No. From what they've been saying and kind of the impressions I get, they want to make sure that everything's ready to rock and it's going to look good and it's not going to just be thrown together. I really do see the very, very end of 2013, and unless the marketing guys have to, fight with other games potentially coming out or big, there's always that, how do we make sure that we get that huge, big boom we're looking for? You don't release your blockbuster movie the same day another blockbuster's coming out. December 2013 is, if we were going to have a poll, that's where I'd be aiming. Could it be delayed? Absolutely. If they want to really fine-tune something, or even with the way they look at the community, if the community has a huge outcry about something, and they're like, okay, the community wants this, I could see them delaying things like that. So those are my thoughts on that.
All right. And someone mentioned in chat, late year releases can sometimes hurt games, and I'll agree with that after seeing some games be hurt by these, because when you get your November, December releases, November and then you kind of skip October. But September and November, for some reason, are always huge for game releases. So if there's blockbusters out or some MMO sneaks out before it, which I don't see happening, it could hurt its release. But at this point, a December 2013, I think would be safe for them as far as other games releasing. It's just you're going to be competing with, the blockbusters of the year, Battlefield 4, new Call of Duty Dogs, and Watch Dogs, stuff like that. So it's not the same genre, but there's going to be some big games coming out around that area that could hurt it, just like we saw in chat. All right. Rain Gaming question: do you think we'll get linear or non-linear dungeons/raids? What do you like? I think we'll see a mix of them based on the number that are in the game. I'm assuming there's going to be some early dungeons or raids that are pretty straightforward. I wouldn't say raids, but most likely dungeons that are just like 3-room dungeon then boss. I could see that be pretty linear, but I could see the raids being huge open ruins like Mines of Moria, Lord of the Rings nerds. Just like a bunch of corridors and go kill these. There's a boss down this corridor. There's stuff like that. So I like non-linear, of course, because it leads to exploration, which is awesome. But Blake, what do you think?
I mean, you just said it. It allows for exploration. That is a path that's, maybe not so much built around raids, and I've said that before for, BGs and other sort of things, but maybe for, dungeons, we can see little things like that where it's like, oh, you come up here and the explorer that may be in your party opens you up to some sub-boss, cool beans. I don't have a preference for either as long as they're done well. If it's a nice straight line, it's pushing story, it's supposed to be short, cool. If it's supposed to be a big clusterfuck where you got to pick different stuff, awesome. As long as it's done well and it's not for the non-linear, as long as it's done well and not confusing, linear is fine. I really don't have a problem with it. Normally, those are the ones that are built to just push the story or to get you to some endpoint. But like I said, I don't have a huge concern either way, as long as, like I said, the non-linear ones are done well.
What? Did you
Back to you,
cut
Beetle.
yourself off?
Did I?
All right. Zergulicious asks, are Aegon and Nixus asleep? Just kidding. That's not what they asked. But Zergulicious asks, how do you feel about limits on number of vote kicks? Are we talking about spamming vote kicks? Blank, what do you think this is talking about? Sorry.
I really think it's, people getting into your party who suck and then being able to abuse a social function like that. If you get into a party and you're a toxic D-bag, you should get kicked. It's something the social team is going to have to work on, because if somebody feels someone's, sucking, or the reason they're failing, they may open up the ability to just, vote kick over and over and over again. I vaguely remember in World of Warcraft they allowed it so that you could only vote kick for so long. But then if you got if you vote kicked somebody else, you couldn't vote kick the next time. So if you were on boss 1, you made it to boss 2. It became this whole dumb metagame thing where I was like, I would like it. There really shouldn't be a limit to it. And if it's that big of a deal, like you're in something that's challenging, don't go in with 3 friends, dumbasses. Go in with 5 friends, Don't go by yourself into something that you need to do. When I look at things like that, I'm like, I went in with 3 friends and the DPS wasn't able to do enough to get us through. So bring somebody who can do it. Shut the hell up. But that's just me. Limits, vote kicking, Beetle. What are your thoughts, man?
You got pretty angry there. I think limits on vote kicking is a good idea based on the number of times the group's done it, but that can be kind of exploited with disbanding the group and reacquiring the same group. But we don't want to see what we started to see in some dungeon runs in Guild Wars 2, where if you got an invite, the second they saw what profession you were, you got kicked right back out. I don't want to see elitism like that. Yes, yeah, everyone thinks this class is a better DPS than this class. Well, let the guy DPS. Maybe he's really awesome at his class. I just don't want to see like, oh no, we want Esper. Or, oh no, we need Spellslinger. We already have one of you. It's part of the game a lot of the times. Like, oh no, Esper sucks. We can't have it. But I just think it's just mean, guys. Alright? Aegon.
I mean, I don't see any real reason for restricting it. I mean, if someone's being a pain in the ass with it, you just kick them out and get someone new. I can't remember, but I think if Rift did it, like, you couldn't even kick somebody for, like, the first 15 minutes when you went into a dungeon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then after kicking somebody, another timer kicked in before you kick anybody else. And that seemed to work out.
That's actually a good idea.
That seemed to work out pretty well. But I don't see a reason to restrict it. I mean, I see that, I know one thing that, WoW, we did a lot of kicking because of the cross-server. Seems the cross-server grouping seemed to cause more problems when it came to having to kick people. And people who kicked, who caused problems like that. Any game I played that had, local queuing, never didn't see that as often because that person's on your server. You know who they are. They can be blacklisted easily. That's my thoughts on that. Go ahead,
Nexus.
Yeah, to expand actually just on what you just said, if it is limited to just the people that are on your server, I feel like people aren't going to be as trollish about, let's say there's 4 friends. The 4 of us, we're all running an instance, and one guy comes in, and he's 2% under what we consider the ideal DPS for this instance, and we're just those guys, and we decide to vote kick him out, and he didn't really deserve it, right? Well, if we're all on the same server as that guy, and he's in X guild, or he has X amount of friends, and he goes and tells them, it's going to affect our reputation, right? We're going to come off as douchebags. So I feel like that's going to control a little bit more if there isn't cross-server rating and grouping and whatever you want to call it. But more than that, though, I think it's a very two-sided thing when it comes to the whole limit on vote kicking, or even having vote kicking at all or not. More than once have I seen what I just described, the group of 4 people who are just those 4 same personality type that decide to be mean to the 5th person who comes in and just kick them out, and they abuse the system. But that's not as often as I see somebody come in where 4 of us, even if we're not friends, we're just randoms, we're all working together, and that 5th person comes in and decides to AFK because of X reasons. There could be legitimate reasons like kids crying, and priorities. That's fine. But if you've got those kinds of responsibilities, I'm going to kindly ask you to step out of the instance so that we can proceed doing what we were doing. It's I understand that, but at the same time, I don't want people to come in and pull us down and us have no, I don't want to sit there and be like, this guy's been AFK for 30 minutes. The only option we have is to leave. And if I leave and for some reason, let's say there's a lock on instances or a cooldown on how many times you can run them, that's going to suck. So I'm kind of with Blank and Aegon on this. I definitely want vote kick to be in, and without a limit. It's going to get abused, yes, but not as much as I think it'll be useful.
Listen,
for the greater
I got
good.
I got a bunch of things to throw out here, but let me tell you something. I have a daughter that's 2.5 years old, and unless she's sick or falls out and bleeding deathly everywhere, get your ass back in bed, kid. Now is bedtime. Daddy's playing nerdy games. Go. Killing dragons. People mention about the party leader being knowledgeable, not being able to remove people. Unless you're in a 5-man pre-made for a dungeon, the party leader shouldn't be able to remove people. However, if somebody's knowledgeable, I always like those sort of things where it's this person knows about this, he will lead the party, so he will set the tank and the healer and, maybe put down this is where we move for phase 1, this is where we move for phase 2. Cool beans. Meta subbing. We used to do this a lot. You'd be in a dungeon or heroic. You're trying to gear people up. You've got a buddy who doesn't pull a shit ton of DPS. You get up to the last boss or so. You vote kick douchebag out that you don't know. You bring in your buddy, and then you do the boss. He gets gear he needs. You bounce out. It's one of the things that happens. I'm very much used to playing the meta game. That's sorry. Also, if someone gets kicked out. Another thing I want to throw out there was the grouping cooldown. If you get into a group or whatever and you get kicked out, is there a cooldown? You're allowed to go back in. Again, other things I want to throw out. And the last part, cross-server toggle. Do you want to play potentially on just people on your server? Well, let's have a potential toggle that says, I don't like people on other shitty servers. My server's really cool. I'm playing with homies on my server. I'm sure, Carbine, if you're listening, that may not come across as nice as I'm saying, but it's something that you could add in, potentially. I want to play with people just on my server. And yes, there are people that'll say, well, do it in chat. Well, I'd like that little convenience where maybe I don't have to say it in chat. I can just, as part of my group finding, just be like, peeps on my server, please. I like seeing +1 blank. That makes me happy. All right. That's what I had to say about that.
That's self-esteem. All right, next question.
Back to Datix. Back to Beetle.
Hey, Datix, we're the same person now. Hearts. All right. Datix / Beetle. Is it like reverse engineering of things to get mats? I wouldn't guess that it's reverse engineering. I'm assuming that if you salvage something, you're going to be giving something up to salvage for crafting materials. You probably lose out on something.
I think he's talking about the salvaging, and I believe that's kind of what it is. Like, maybe you got a shirt, and now you salvage a shirt, now you get cloth or some crap like that. Reverse engineering, so maybe you got specific things. I don't know. That's the only guess I got out of that.
Alright. Question from Justin Land. Currently, they raised the LAS button cap from 7 to 8. How many buttons do you want in LAS? We kind of spoke about this. I think between 8 to 10 is usually good for action-type MMO like this. A lot of people in chat said they like to see 10. It really depends on the type of skills we get. If everybody can res out of combat and everybody has a CC breaker, I could see us sticking at 8, because 9 and 10 throughout my action game thing is a res and a CC breaker. So maybe that's why they kind of chucked it at 8. Blank, what do you think?
There was a thread about this, I want to say 2 months ago at Wildstar Central, and they asked, how many things could you keybind comfortably? And I had to go through and count. I think my number was like 25 or 30, and some people had numbers even higher than that. They were the ones who played like I can't remember that game, the one where you could fly around. What was that MMO?
The one where you
could fly around. Aeon?
No,
Here we go,
it was part of the deal. Like, you
Aeon?
have wings.
Aeon.
Thank you. In that one, they have, like, if you've ever seen their PvP, it's like this, it looks like a fucking PvEer. It's like all of these crazy things for their macros, and some of them have like 50 more. I'm like, that's, when I played out Warlock in World of Warcraft, that was enough for me, where I was like, okay, this is me and my focus targets, and here's my pet and his focus target. I was like, holy shit. When it comes down to it, I like anything that's within, 1 to 10 comfortably, because with, the way that Wildstar is designed and set up, it's not just, I keep thinking, I know it's really subjective, I'm sorry, but it's with a game like World of Warcraft, it's very flat. Like, you have this CC and its counter is this and this one, and they pop this, and it's all about who gets a better timing or better sync up with their group mates, or even for PvE, it's the gear race, whether it's a certain thing. When you have only 10 things to pick from, then you got to worry about the telegraphs and all of the other things that are going on. It's not just 1 or 2. It's like 5 or 6 different things. So while I'm worrying about all of this extra stuff going on, I only want to worry about 10 skills to press that I have to cycle through while I'm looking at telegraphs, while I'm looking at getting into the healer's, green circle somewhere and running away from the dragon's red breath. All right, back to you, Beetle. What's the next question?
All right. Crodex asks, is there a down system before you die or just death? They haven't featured talking about a down system at all, and they've talked about their hollow crypts. I assume it's just death. It is beta. They could add a down system. It's definitely up to them, but we have not seen a down system. It's just death. Rain Gaming asks, thoughts on adding gear aging? If you own Tier 1 head, after X amount of time, it will start to look older, parts falling off, ripped pants, and then vendors being able to repair the look of it. A lot of durability, but for looks, interesting. I mean, Rain, I agree with you. I love ideas like that as like an aspiring designer. Like, that stuff's so cool to me. But the amount of the differing textures and everything that they need for the gear to age, that you'd be talking per piece of gear instead of one texture and one whatever specular map, you're talking about 8 to 10 textures per piece of gear while it degrades, or maybe it only degrades around 5 pieces, but you're still adding so much more content and size to your game that it really doesn't work with an MMO. I could see it in like a Skyrim type or like a Stalker Chernobyl. I could see it in a game like that where, or even like DayZ, the more you get hit, the durability, it goes down and it looks different. But in an MMO, I just don't think they have the memory to do it. Blank?
All I gotta say is, if I work my ass off to get really cool PvP or PvE gear, I sure the fuck do not want it to look rusty or crappy because I fell off my horse and skinned my knee. So, it's a cool idea. But in the end, part of the draw for me of wearing that Elden game gear is to look cool, and I don't want it to look shitty and then have to repair it as another money sink. Aegon?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say. I mean, it's awesome gear that I've earned. It's magical. Why is it falling apart? And I don't need another money sink in my game. You know, so I mean, we get enough as there is. So.
Well, I mean, it's already going to be a money sink. This is purely cosmetic. Bull already said that repair is the best money sink that they have in the game based on the uplink. So you're going to be repairing either way. Oh, man. Drop the hammer on you, Aegon. I'm sorry. But, yeah, repairing's in either way. This is cosmetic, stuff like that. Sorry. All right. Katarina asks, do you think that people that wear higher level gear, medium, and heavy gear will be able to wear lower level gear, medium, and light gear? Huh? Nexus? You wrote your name. Don't shake your head at me. Oh.
I'm not shaking my head. What are you talking about? I'm saying I hope not, because nothing was more annoying to me than me playing a hunter and a warrior rolling on something I needed, like something chain, being like, oh, but the stats are better than what I have, and I'm just like, excuse me, Donk, I can't roll on your gear. What gives you the right to roll on my gear? It's not about even being fair, it's just about like, what the crap? So it's just, to me, annoyance-wise, I don't want that at all. Keep it far away. If you're a warrior, wear your freaking plate. If you're a hunter, wear your chain. Let people wear what they want. Or, no, don't let people wear what they want. Let people wear only what they're supposed to wear. I take that back. Yeah, a little rage fest there. It is so aggravating to me. I'm sorry.
All right. And that looks, if Pilot hasn't received anything else, it looks like that'd be our last question of the night. Yep. All right.
I should just skip over Blank completely.
Yep, that's all. Oh, hey, Blank. I'm gonna let you finish, Blank. But...
I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had like the best all year, bro.
So I looked back and I was just like, hey, Blank, you gonna talk, man? And then you didn't. So.
Mine stuff is pretty much the same thing that Nixon said, more about looking at the design. Oh, there's a question from MMO Papa. You shouldn't be able to wear. You need to be forced into things that you can and can't wear, and normally they change it as you level up. You know, oh, you're level 40, now you can wear heavy and this and that. Making it so other people, especially with Wildstar, making it so other people can roll in your stuff. Well, who's going to roll in your gear? It's got, oh, hey, it has that random chip thingy in there that I want. And then it turns into a cluster F where you're like, oh, well, I could potentially use that for my off spec. No. Let's firm it up a little bit, okay? Let's at least make them so that these people wear these sets, these people wear these sets, certain people only wear one set. and that's it. Because with chips, it's already convoluted as shit. It's already, for those of you who are doing DKP, I feel bad for you, because that's gonna suck. The last question we just got, literally at the wire, was from MMO Papa. Do you think PvP should do durability damage to equipment? As a huge PvPer, I'm up at the top, just so you guys know, up at shoutouts. No, absolutely not. Because with the amount of hours I will put into PvP and any other games that I've played in PvP, you're taking damage, you're running in like crazy, you're dying. If you have the normal rules for what gives you damage, that's a huge money sink. Unless, caveat, unless you're getting money from doing PvP. Unless it sort of balances itself out. But if you're somebody who wants to do PvP and you don't have, like, you have a money sink but no way to pay for it, then you get forced to go do something like PvE, which is...
yeah. Someone mentioned World v. World and Guild Wars 2. I remember our raid group, sometimes we got until late of the night, and I just kind of look and I'd be like, all right, we need DPS here, and then I look, I'd be like, how come 6 of you aren't wearing shirts? It's like, you haven't brought us back to repair in over an hour and a half. It's like, well, stop dying, let's go. It's just like, I chose not to wear a shirt, that's what I did. It's just, that was the worst thing. It was just like, Guild Wars 2, World v. World. World v. World is not something that, yes, if you're good, you live a long time, but you're going to die eventually because there's going to be a bigger group than you, or there's going to be something that happens. So it's like, you die a lot in that, and it's just such... yeah, I didn't like that. Didn't make me happy.
Yeah. All right. Getting ready to wrap up here. We wanted to do, I believe, Nixus had a request. So before I finish up, and I'm gonna let me finish, Nixus, go ahead and do what you're gonna do.
For the shoutouts?
Yeah, the one that's right here. This is you. Right. That's not me.
Yeah, perfect. It's kind of like my 2 cents for the community thing tonight. There's a lot of Wildstar fans that I'm seeing on Twitter who do not speak English. I personally follow the French community a lot, which is why I wanted to do a quick shout out to them. Salut tous les Français. Je vous remercie pour votre intérêt dans le jeu et puis continuez comme vous le faites parce que c'est vraiment génial.
He's making that all up.
Yeah, total made up. But so everyone out there who doesn't speak English, who's interested in Wildstar, or if you do speak English but you also speak their language, and they're asking questions in whatever language it may be, take a second to respond. You know, like just because there's a language barrier doesn't mean they can't be a part of the Wildstar community. So take those couple seconds, respond, let them know what they need to, point in which direction, and there you go.
Sorry, somebody wrote something ridiculous in the chat. I can't focus.
Did I miss it?
Okay. It's Rage Bear. Just go read what Rage Bear wrote as I finish up here. So,
Happy Hansel speaks French?
Yeah? We
God damn it, Hansel. Is that what you said, Nixon? We're gonna fight. Quick, say it again. I'm getting Google Translate up.
Make sure to follow us on Twitch, on Twitter. We got at BeetleBossy, at RealBlankSpace, at Nixus0213, at Atomics1911, at SVG Wildstar. There's a lot of people on Wildstar, on the Wildstar hashtag on Twitter. If you're not used to it, I definitely recommend going to check it out, along with, of course, Wildstar Central and all the other cool people out there. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. We enjoy bringing this to you. It's a lot of work. We spent a lot of our time bringing this for you guys. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. And, we're going to keep plugging along here. And you guys will definitely see us next week with another big old, dose of news and speculation talk. And, hopefully we get something cool, big, Wildstar Wednesday drop. And if not, we're still going to feed you the news that you might not have seen from all over the corners of the internet. So, thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it, guys. You have a great night.
More videos tomorrow.
Peace out, everyone. Take it easy.
Stuff.
Good night.
Night,
Video
everyone.
games.